Hi, I'm Plami, and in this episode of RDK, I'm gonna be reacting to ENHYPEN's recent comeback, Tamed and Dashed. And I gotta say, I really like the kind of naming structure that they've started to have. I mean, since their debut, even with Given and Taken, then Drunken Dazed, and now Tamed and Dashed. I do wonder whether they're actually going to use both words in the song, because they didn't really do that for Days, because the chorus was just like Days, Days, Days. And I actually really like that song. It was surprisingly, like, genuinely one of my favorite songs of the year, because for Given and Taken, I liked it back when I reacted to it, but I had a decent amount of criticisms for it, but they really improved for Drunken Dazed. And I think one of my biggest things that I liked about that song is actually that the amount of autotune, or at least the annoying type of autotune, was much lower. Similarly to TXT's most recent comeback at the time, which was Love Song, which also had pretty much no autotune, at least not noticeable one. So I'm wondering whether it's gonna be the same for this song, because one of the things that has been bothering me with big hit groups, or should I say hype groups at this point, and yes, ENHYPEN are technically a hype group, they're just under a subsidiary, it's just the shitty amount of autotune that they shove onto every single group, and it even spread to the groups that they bought, essentially, in the form of like 17 and GFriend. Even GFriend's music changed and became a more autotune heavy after they became part of Hype. So that's why actually, at the end of the day, I was mostly happy with GFriend leaving essentially Hype, although they ended up disbanding. Although at this point in time, a group consisting of Shimbi, Ona, and is gonna happen. They're called the Vivis. So I'm excited to hear whenever their songs, whenever they debut, and how different they're gonna be from GFriend's music. But I'm getting a little bit sidetracked. I'm just hoping that this song of ENHYPEN's is gonna have very little autotune, just like the last one, or at least lower amount than usual. And yeah, I guess without further ado, let's get into the song and find out in 3, 2, 1. Okay, definitely sounds there's more autotune. But again, I think it's more of the Drunken Dazed type of autotune rather than the Given or Taken. And I already like the vibe of this song. Ooh, that dancing though! Man, the dancing is really crazy. And yeah, so far this song is actually pretty good, but I feel like it's not quite as good as Days was. Although maybe that's gonna change, because we're still only like halfway through the song. I really like the dancing though. And that's something that ENHYPEN has excelled at right from the beginning, even back when their survival show was still happening. What's with the old-timey clothes? Okay, that chorus is really good. But I feel like I'm gonna end up feeling about this song kinda how I feel about TXT's Loser and Lover compared to how I feel about Love Song. It's good, but it feels derivative of the previous song, you know? Because it seems to be very much in the same vein or with the same formula that Drunken Days was. But it doesn't quite manage to hit the same highs, because for Drunken Days I did not expect the song to be that good or to sound like that. While with this song I was hoping that it was going to be like this, even. But yeah, we still were gonna give it a second listen before I say my final thoughts, but so far, pretty good. Pretty happy with it. Anything else in the music video? Okay. I mean, there's not much to add to what I already said. I like it. It's really good. It's very close to what I expected it was going to be. I just wish it was a little better. Which I don't know if they could have even done better, and I feel like that might have been something that they were never going to be able to win me over with, because I mean, when Drunken Days was released, I did not expect the song to sound anything like that or to be anywhere as near as good as that song was. While with this one, again, I expected something very much along those lines and about as good. And this song fits that marker, but the difference is with Drunken Days, it blew my mind. Well, with this one, I'm like kinda just, okay, it is good, I'll listen to it. There's no really a wow factor to it, I feel like. Well, there is the dancing part, which I feel like is even better than it was in Dazed, but that's kind of not really part of the song, which is the thing that I'm gonna experience the most out of this. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just whelmed about this song. I'm not underwhelmed, maybe teeny little bit, but I wanted to be overwhelmed. That's kind of, I feel like, maybe the best way to put it. But still, we're gonna get one more listen before I say my final thoughts. So without further ado, let's get into it again in 3, 2, 1. And I know that they released another music video for the song Fever. At this point, it was a while back. And maybe that song sounded a little bit different. So if you want to check it out, because it sounds a little different, comment down below so I know there is a demand for that song. And maybe even leave a like. That's also going to show me that people want to see that. Again, in general, I like the vibe of this song. But I do wish that Hype would tone down on the autotune, because I like being able to tell the members' voices apart. And they've gotten better about it, because back with Given and Taken, I was not able to tell the different voices at all. They sounded completely the same to me. But now I am starting to tell the difference a little more. And that chorus part is really good, man. Oh, that dancing is so sharp, I love it. man, I feel like after getting the full experience of this song and after I've listened to it a lot of times, it's gonna be very tough to decide between it and Dazed about the best song from them for this year. Because like both songs are so good and they have some differences that I really like about them. Like, I feel like maybe this song has a little bit more emotional depth to it because of that bridge part that we just got, while Days, at least from my memory, didn't really have that, or at least didn't leave an impact on me, really. So we'll see. I'm still more leaning towards Days being their best song this year, but we'll see. Okay, I don't care about this part. So yeah, I really like it. I really do, and I will be listening to it. But that was kind of beside the point, even before I got to listen to the song. In terms of a rating, I think for this song, I'm going to give it a solid 9.4 out of 10. As I've already repeated like 10 times, it's a good song. But I feel like there was some space for where they could have done some things differently and maybe spiced the song up in some ways to where it would have managed to blow my mind the same way that Days did. But we sadly didn't get that, so I just can't give it a 10 out of 10. It's a good song at what it's trying to do, so it might as well be 10 out of 10 in that regard, but ultimately it's gonna be a 9.4 out of 10. And yeah, what did you guys think about this song? Comment down below, let's have a discussion about it. And as I mentioned earlier, I have an interest in checking out ENHYPEN B-sides. So if you want to see me react to some ENHYPEN B-sides, comment down below the album that you want me to start with. And in general, just like the video and show that to show me that there is a demand for doing that kind of reactions sooner rather than later. Because I do have an interest to do that and check out B-sides from them. But I don't know when it's gonna happen. It's more likely to happen sooner rather than later if the video gets a decent amount of traction to justify me sidelining some of the other ones that get me more traction, you know? But yeah, before we end this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to my currently one and only patron on Patreon, Omari Bridgman. If you want to join that person over there, you can do that by going down in the description below and clicking on the links to my Patreon and to my Ko-fi account, if you want to go that route as well. The biggest difference between the two websites where you can support me is that on Patreon, you obviously get benefits and perks for subscribing at the specific tier, and the specific benefit for you K-pop fans is that if you support me through my Patreon, you get to demand me to do 4 reactions per month. Whether it's gonna be music videos or album reactions, it's completely up to you, but you get 4 reactions per month. And you can still comment in the comments down below the things you want me to react to, but if you do that through Patreon, it's gonna happen as soon as possible. Well, in the comments below, it's ultimately gonna be up to me whether I want to do the reaction or not. And on the other hand, on Ko-fi, it's just simply for like a one-time donation kind of support, similarly to Twitch, where you just donate money to your favorite creator to support them. You still get shoutouts on the channel for doing that, but it's gonna be a one-time thing, not a continuous shoutout. So whichever way you want to support me through, it's completely up to you. If you want to go through a long-term support plan on my Ko-fi account, contact me so I can actually start setting that up for the future. Because as of right now, I don't really have anybody willing to support me through Ko-fi, and I feel like it's putting an unnecessary burden on me to start setting up the same long-term support idea for Ko-fi as well, because most people are going to support me through Patreon anyway. But yeah. And now, before we end this video, I just want to talk about something to you guys very quickly, which some of you may or may have not noticed before or know about me, that being the fact that I am trans. And yes, this may come as shocking to some of you because I don't really flaunt it that much on my channel, or at least I feel like I don't. Outside of like my K-pop reactions, which is where I feel like the most comfortable being myself like this. And yeah, I am in fact trans. I'm not necessarily full-on male to female, but I heavily want to transition to being pretty female. I do consider myself more non-binary though, or maybe gender fluid would be the best descriptor as well, because I do have occasional moments where I feel fine being like just a normal guy, but most of the time, like right now, I do feel very dysphoric. And that's why I'm asking you guys for any help that you can give me, because my situation right now, I don't really see any way outside of you guys' help. Because, and this is gonna be kept short and concise, I live with my parents. They're never going to accept me as a trans person. They just never will. And as a matter of fact, back when I started the YouTube channel, I was actually kind of slightly starting my transition back then, with like starting to grow out my hair. I even got to DIY HRT, but because my parents started noticing certain things, like my behavior had changed a lot and my clothes had changed a lot, I kind of had to stop doing that, because they were constantly nagging me about cutting my hair and just started to kind of be threatening in a certain way, and felt like they were ashamed of me and everything. And that kind of stress just tired me out to the point where I just gave up. But as dysphoria goes, it just doesn't go away, you know. I still feel like this, and in fact, it's somewhat been intensifying again recently, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. And again, I would really appreciate any amount of support you can give me in regards to this, because I just don't see any way out of this. Because even if I moved out of my parents' house and got myself a job and everything, that's just not gonna work for long-term planning, because once I transition, it's like I probably will not be able to get myself a job, because my country is very transphobic. Nobody gives a shit about LGBT people at all. So there's not even much I can do even in terms of transitioning here. So yeah, I don't know. I just would appreciate any amount of support you can give me, be it monetarily or in any way otherwise. And this is not about boosting my channel or anything, or guilt-tripping you with my sob story. I just wanted to get this off my chest and make my subscribers aware of the situation that I am in, and that I would appreciate anything that you guys can help me out with. It would mean literally everything. Like, for example, a friend that I made after starting this YouTube channel, my good friend Yuri, has been helping me out a lot. And I genuinely might have not been here if it wasn't for him showing up and befriending me. So yeah, this just went a little bit longer than I intended, but I would just really appreciate anything you can support me with. That's kind of ultimately what I'm trying to say. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out the list in the description to my Twitter if you don't follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories, or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon or to my Ko-fi account, where you can pledge support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think it's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!